June 16th at 6 p.m., come to the Woodbury 10 to see the full Paprika series that my uncle made.
You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show.
You want me to do the thing?
I want you to do the thing. Welcome to Movie Baiters with the Farx brothers. I'm Kyle.
I'm Kirk.
I'm Theodore.
I love that. And we are here with Alex Marvin.
Yep.
And I give my brother the first question every time.
What do you do on set?
Well, I actually haven't been on set like a whole lot. I've been an extra in a horror film a few years ago. I was an extra on Frogman in a scene that actually didn't make it to the final cut. But I do some like independent like documentary work, and I've done like a number of like corporate style videos, and I do interviews, and I like to work with athletes and outdoor enthusiasts and people who are connecting other people with nature and the outdoors.
Bro, you stick cameras out of helicopters and shoot shit. Like, make it like pretend there's a lady listening to this. You know what I mean?
I do that too. I do occasionally. I'm in like an R-44, an R-66 helicopter, and running a gun out of it, running an FX3 usually.
Tell us about the most recent, because you're coming back from a trip right now, correct?
Mm-hmm. I was in Alaska for about 3 weeks, and then the desert Southwest for 2 weeks, so about 5 weeks in total. And me and a good friend of mine, we were guiding a client and friend of ours on a private photography workshop, and we focused a lot on just like the northern lights above the Arctic Circle, a lot of like aerial abstract work, and just kind of like reinvigorating some work he's been developing over the years.
Okay, so this is somebody that can afford to go to Alaska, bring you guys, and then also go to the Southwest, and this person's just trying to hone their craft of photography?
Yeah, he's all in on being just like the best photographer he can be.
Wow.
It's really cool to be a part of his creative evolution and development.
How did you and your colleague end up meeting someone like this? Was it through photography like enthusiast groups, or like how do you meet someone like that? And you know,
well, he met this guy a number of years ago in Iceland, and then he and I have known each other for almost 10 years now. We went to college together.
My brothers, I think, will be impressed by this. You went to college for engineering, correct? 10 years ago?
Yep. Yeah, I went to the University of Minnesota. I studied electrical engineering.
And you worked as an electrical engineer for a while and then got into filmmaking.
Yep.
Could you, that's very cool. Explain to us the thought process, please.
Well, I think I've just always wanted to like do creative things and be like, you know, making art, whether it's like painting or like making images or whatever. I wasn't really able to take any like art classes or photography classes when I was in college just because of my workload and other things I was involved with. And I ended up working for a lighting company right out of school, which was kind of like what I really wanted to do was either work for a boat company or work for a lighting company. And so I ended up designing lights, LED-based lights for like different manufacturing applications. And one of the first like projects they gave me was basically to make a ring light for this like high-speed camera that would like count things, and I made lights in like the regular white spectrum across some temperatures, and then some other like more niche wavelengths that they needed for their processes, like IR or blue, or made like a UV one as well. And so I was working with the cameras kind of like right away, and then for the longest time I basically couldn't afford my own gear. And then there's a period of time where I'm just like, I've got like a regular, like nice income. And actually one of the senior electrical engineers, Daryl, he was a photographer, and we would like chat. And there was a point in time where I just started turning paychecks into camera equipment. I started taking photos just like in the corporate, just like around like the corporate parties or whatever. And it just kind of like reminded myself of, I have this eye and I love to like be outside with the camera. And then it was like 2020, kind of like the beginning of COVID, and then I was a part of a big layoff. And then I'm just like, well, I guess I'm just going to try and figure some things out with my camera.
And now you're sticking cameras out of helicopters in Alaska.
It wasn't like so direct, but like more or less, like it eventually like seems to be working out.
I'm not going to say I haven't had that thought, like, oh, hey, my corporate life, which is completely separate from me as Kyle Farx, who exists in this same corporeal form. Where do you start when you're in that circumstance? Like, hey, I've shot cool corporate pics, I'll put a website together, or like how do you like start yourself in, as a freelancer?
I mean, I think the hardest part, and this is one of the things I just like continue to do, is you just have to believe in yourself. I think there's a lot of like self-doubt I kind of experienced along the way, and I experienced this during like my engineering time too. This whole idea of like what is it? Like it's not an inferiority complex, but it's always like wondering, are you good enough? And then it's like letting that voice be quiet and just kind of going for it and making mistakes and like having like doing what you can to have these like buffers for like when you do make mistakes, you can recover from them, and also just having I think like a higher like risk tolerance helps. And then also just like being comfortable doing odd jobs. I went from like having a very steady, predictable kind of career path, and I kind of decidedly made my life a little bit more complicated. And to me, it's kind of more what I want to be doing right now.
Well, how did you stay in that mindset of, I'm going to get the next thing, and the next thing's going to help me to grow? Was there a mindset that you had? And just believed in yourself, or is it like the work that inspired you to keep going?
I mean, right, to some extent, I think one has to be a little bit delusional.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, I like to climb, and like one of the things about climbing is if you're at the bottom of a route and you don't see yourself at the top, like if you can't like imagine yourself at the top, you probably won't get to the top.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You have to have vision.
Vision.
And Merritt
And
West has
conviction.
been on the show and talked about climbing and how people like, he used different words than this, but become very technical when, okay, if I see myself there, how do I get there? And they're breaking it down very technically.
Yeah, on the fly, you think?
He used more spectrum-y type language.
Spectrum, I don't even know what that
I
means.
mean, yeah, you totally just like imagine yourself like every move, like where you're taking like a breath, and it's just like you imagine yourself all the way to the top. And it's nice to have people, to continue the analogy, to have like really good climbers around you who like inspire you to like go further, who like push you to like go for the last move, and maybe you fall after that. But it's like you've got like your protection, you've got like your risk management set up. And you learn to become comfortable with falling. And I used to skateboard a lot, and there's a lot of falling and skateboarding. Yeah. I went skateboarding for the first time, like seriously, in like a long time, about a year ago. And I was in a mini ramp with a friend near Duluth, and I just like fell. It wasn't that hard, but I'm just like, wow, this hurts.
Gravity.
I forgot. Yeah, I used to just bounce. It hurt then when I would bounce too. But there's like a risk tolerance. It's like skateboarding. It's like I'm kind of going, and I understand that I might fall. And I fall, and it's like it hurts, and yet you reflect on it, and there's that kind of mental game too.
How do you calculate risk on a film job, a freelance film job? Like, give me an example of how you would evaluate risk, because you've used it. I have a higher risk tolerance right now. I do set up my risk management strategies. You sound like somebody that thinks about risk a lot, and I do too.
Yeah. So one job, I'm kind of, I guess I'm in the process of like bidding out on it, is with a sea kayaking outfitter in the Apostle Islands, and they really want drone footage in the area. And I know enough to know that flying your drone in a national park is a huge, major like red flag, and there's a lot of like red tape around that for a lot of like good reasons. People shouldn't be able to just willy-nilly fly their drones in these spaces, especially, in the Apostle Islands, where it can disturb sensitive like birds and like wildlife, and it can like cause harm to other guests like experiencing the space. And this video that they want me to make is really like the example they showed me. Has a lot of drone footage, and I know it's like I could fly my drone there, but then I get in a lot of trouble. And so now it's like, right, managing my risk. I don't want to, I've got my drone pilot's license. I know a lot of the rules, and I'm like navigating like, how do I do this right? And one of the ways is basically to get permission from it's like the superintendent of the National Park Service, like for the Apostle Islands, and I can more or less seek their permission to fly, because they're mostly concerned with safety and like damaging or disturbing wildlife.
As they should be. So you sound like you're a climber, an outdoorsman, an engineer who's into cameras.
Oh yeah, I love cameras. Definitely on the nerd spectrum. I mean, that's just kind of that shows up in a lot of areas of my life.
How does this relate to you, dear brother Nick, as you're a camera... Am I allowed to say geek? in
Sure,
this? Yeah,
sure.
Okay. I can
Yeah.
throw the G word out.
I mean, I can relate. Like, I'm, like, as far as, maybe, I don't know if you're the same way I am, like, can, like, kind of, like, guess what something's filmed on when you watch it on Hulu or whatever. Like, oh, that's the Venice. That's the Alexa. I'm a geek that way. Not like I could own, I'll never own a Venice or an Alexa, unless it's an original Alexa with, like, 15,000 hours on it on eBay. For like maybe $3,000, that's the only Alexa I'll ever own. So I'm not a geek, like I have all these cameras, but like
You guys are like car guys, because like being a car guy, you have to know how to like maintenance the car, how the car works, drive the car. But like as someone who's not like super technical on the camera, I own a camera.
yeah.
Yeah,
There it
but
is.
I don't know. A car person knows how to fix their own car. Do you guys know how to fix your own cameras?
No. Well,
I mean, I used to, just with like the level of like R&D and electronics development I did, it's like we went from just like idea in the air to like boards manufactured in the thousands and to like a real product. And, there's a number of modifications I've considered doing on my camera, like to be able to like perceive like infrared light better, which is like you have to like remove a filter. But in order to do that, you have to basically totally disassemble the camera.
Yeah, does it avoid the warranty or something if you do that?
Yeah, if you open up your PlayStation 2, you can't like get service on your PlayStation. Even
Yeah.
I know that from that one. Right? Or is that how it works? Like,
I don't know, but I've thought about doing it, and there's services that can do it. And I could buy cameras that are already set up that way, but
Oh,
I basically know enough that like I could do that, but it's like managing the risk and reward of that, and then do I want I would need like a second FX3 to do that. I wouldn't make my A cam like an experimental camera right away.
Why do you want to take off a filter so that you can get infrared light?
Just to like perceive scenes in a way that like we can't like directly perceive. Like we can pretty much see more or less from like 400 nanometers, which is like purple, to upwards of like 700 nanometers, which is like very like far red. And on either end of these spectrums are like ultraviolet, which we can't directly perceive. We can perceive the effects of it, like we can see things fluorescing. And with like infrared, we can't like directly see heat, but we can like tell if something's hot in some scenarios, but we can't like perceive infrared. That's just like not within our range. And so it's to like show scenes, like more especially like towards like the night, or like totally at night, where heat is like the primary like wavelength, if you will, that you can like perceive with a camera. And there's a project that I'm working on with a bear hunter, and there's a number of scenes that I'm kind of envisioning that I might need like a nice infrared camera.
Are they're trying to hunt the bears and catch it, or like just photograph it?
Both.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've eaten bear before. It's not bad.
You
Black
eaten
bear or
bear?
brown bear? Yeah.
In
Black
America?
bear.
In the United States? Yeah.
Wow.
'cause black bear you can hunt and the meat is, if it's prepared,
Yeah, I've been told eating brown bear meat, like grizzly bear meat, is bad. It's a bad idea.
Okay. I've never had brown bear. I know I've had bear meat once. Have you had bear meat before?
Oh yeah, and black bear will eat mostly like natural. Well, I guess they're all eating like natural things. Black bear won't eat they don't have a lot of opportunities to eat like rotting meat.
Oh,
And like
sure.
a lot of like grizzly bears will eat like rotting meat, and you just have to be more careful about certain diseases. And I guess like because they eat this, like it can be like more of a mixed variety of questionable things. You just don't want to eat it.
Did you grow up rural? Did you go hunting?
I've actually been hunting one time.
Okay.
My dad grew up very rural. He was basically like the first one to move to the city. So there's a lot of rural people in my family. And my youngest brother got married relatively recently, and like that whole extended family, like they're super rural. And
But you grew up in the Twin Cities. Is that what I'm perceiving?
yep.
Grew up in Twin Cities, go to the U of M, made right, become an engineer, sticking a camera out of helicopters.
Did you say made right?
Made right, yeah. But,
What does that mean?
like, because it's something these parents are probably very proud to tell their friends.
Oh,
Am I
okay.
right? Like,
As
I
a
mean, I
rural
don't know.
person?
Like, there's definitely a while where my mom specifically was like actively discouraging me from doing
Engineering?
what I'm doing. No. Like
Oh.
doing like the more creative stuff and like kind of like stepping away from the the engineering stuff. Like she was very actively like, why are you doing this? You should go back. And it's like, I totally understand her perspective. And, you know, part of the reason why I did it in the first place was just to kind of like honor that idea. You know, my mom, she immigrated here from China. I'm the first one born here. And it's like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, doing the engineering thing was like, I was like supposed to do that.
Oh,
But it's not unlike Barry Anderson, previous guest of the show, whose mom was very much like, no, you can't like do anything but, you know, that. So then as somebody who's now doing it and making a career out of it, like, you know, I think doing nature shoots for whoever's willing to fund that and then figuring out how to fly with gear, like that's pro, right? Is that pro to you?
Yeah.
He flies with gear. You're afraid of flying.
Yeah, I'm never gonna. Yeah, I'll never do that. It's way cooler than what I'll ever do.
You wouldn't stick a camera out of a helicopter?
I wouldn't go in the helicopter.
Yeah, in the
I
first
have to
place,
go in the
yeah.
helicopter
Right.
first.
Try and describe to my brother what it's like to shoot out of a helicopter, so that I want to watch like how he viscerally reacts. Just the audience won't see it, but I will.
I mean, I guess I don't really want to over exaggerate it, but like the first thing is like you have to know your pilot and have a good relationship with your pilot. I suppose you could just show up and like you could go on a flight seeing tour, but it's much better to have a relationship with your pilot. And you know, there's this saying, I hope I can get it right the first time. There are old pilots and there are bold pilots, but there are no old and bold pilots. And so you've kind of got to like flesh that, like feel that out when you're meeting pilots, because some people might be super excited to go, but you might not actually want to fly with them. And so there's this aspect of trust that's enormous. And I trust my pilots with my life right away. And it's like, I'm not worried about them like going down. And like if like something were to fail, it's like, I know that they know how to navigate it. I know that they have like survival gear. I know that I have like my own kind of like outdoor like competency, and it's like they have like a plan. They've got all of these communication devices, and so you have to set that aside right away. It's like you're not gonna fall out. You have to have your seatbelt on. When you're doing stuff out of a helicopter, ideally you want to be doors off, because otherwise you've only got like a limited area to point your camera out of, and there's also like weird artifacts that'll show up, like your windows might be polarized, and if you're using a variable ND filter, it's like you're gonna be in trouble a lot. And like even if you're not like changing your like ND filter, it's like there's these weird things that show up. So being doors off, I mean, depending on like where you're flying, it's a totally different like climate. And so like this last time when we were in Alaska, we flew out, you know, we were within like a few hours of like Anchorage mostly, and it might be 0 degrees or like 10 degrees like on the ground when we get off, or like maybe it's like 20 on like the highest end like in our trip. But then there will be times where it'll touch -60.
Well, then it's even colder up there, right? No matter what it is down there, it's you're freezing even more up
What are
there.
you wearing on your hands so you can operate the camera?
Gloves. I
Okay.
mean, obviously, right? But then it's like you need to have I don't know, these are just some like standard like black diamond like ski gloves that are like, you know, they've got like the leather palms, and it's like just tight enough that I can be tactile with my camera, and then I also just have to know how to use my camera. But then it's also like, because my hand is like 1.5 times thicker, it's like more difficult to use the camera sometimes.
Wait, you've measured this? My hand is because of the glove, and then your hands swell when you get cold? I don't know how that works.
Well, like when you wear a glove, it's
Yeah,
like your
it's
hand.
thicker.
Yeah, your hand like becomes bigger.
Yeah,
more or
yeah, yeah.
less. And so like with like one of my like favorite lenses, just like this Zeiss prime lens that I have, and just like with the way that my grip on my camera body is, like when I have the gloves, it's like I can't really fit my fingers in it like I normally can. So I have to, this like slightly looser grip. I like to wear a neck strap. I'm usually on the right side of the helicopter, and you know, if you point your camera out too much, you can get into the slipstream, and that can
oh wow,
like
yeah.
hurt your shoulder.
Have you felt that before?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are times where you can stick the camera like out, and it's okay, and then there are times where it's like impossible, and then there are also times where you just want to huddle up in a ball and just like stay warm. And you know, I've got, you know, upwards of like 4 or 5 layers on for some of the flights that we went on, and I've got like full down pants, a full like, yeah, I've got the whole kit face mask. Like my I've got like ice beards and like ice mustaches at different points. And
How do you keep your camera from freezing up? Wouldn't it freeze,
Don't
or is it
worry
not?
about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not human, it's a robot.
Yeah, but it can still freeze, right?
And like
Yeah.
I do care about my camera. Like I do my best to be kind to my camera. And we were also working on time lapses on this trip. That was one of the objectives, is to become like much more competent at that, and kind of like become like more empowered in like doing this process from like in the magic hour, from like day to night or night to day. And there was one day to night time lapse I attempted where I left my camera on like the foot of a glacier, just totally outside, obviously on the glacier overnight. And like talking with my pilots, like risk management. I'm like chatting with my pilot, like what are the odds that like something could happen? And he's like, there's like a 3% chance your camera is gone tomorrow. This ice cave could fall and it would shoot out like ice chunks, or it would like break the ice and there'd be a wave. And it's like, if something happened, like we could probably find your camera, but it's like there's like a non-zero, approximately 3% chance by his judgment that my camera's gone. I'm just like,
Are you camping near this, or are you going back to like a domicile of some kind?
we went back to a lodge.
Okay.
Next time, I would really like to camp out there, because that's really the best way to do it. Because for some of these day to night time lapses, you have to actively monitor it, and just in case like something goes weird, just want to be able to check on it. But I came back the next day, and it's like my camera is probably so cold that if I touched it with my bare skin, it would probably burn me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it still works. Still works great. That camera has been underwater. It's been in the desert a number of times, and it's been in the rain, in the snow, and it's like it still works.
Sony FX.
FX3?
Not the FX3. This is my A7R3 that's been to like all of these places. My FX3 hasn't been. Yeah, I wouldn't put that underwater without a nice case.
Sure. And you mentioned survival. If like you're planning for if the helicopter goes down and you're stuck in the woods. You said outdoor competencies. Like, are you planning for what if we get stuck out here for a while? You said the pilot has communication gear.
Oh yeah, that's not really like on me, or that's not really like on like the guests of the aircraft to like have all of this. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's a requirement with like the state of Alaska, like where we're flying, they have to have survival gear for X amount of days. And I remember my very first time I was ever in a bush plane in Alaska. It was after pretty much like a 60-hour drive from Colorado to Haines, and it's like perfect timing, great weather. We got on a flight, and I was wearing socks and sandals, which like in my mind was like totally fine. And I'm just like in the plane doing my thing with my cameras, just kind of warming up to the whole experience. And then afterwards, my pilot just very kindly and firmly just kind of told me it's like he's required to carry like up to like he has to have like 1 week's worth of like survival gear, like food for like 3 to 5 days or whatever, sleeping bags, satellite phone, like all of his like survival gear. And he showed me, it's like, and I wear this and I hope I never have to use it. And he has like a magnesium like steel device that he wears as a necklace. He's like, I hope I never have to use it, but it's like he knows how to.
Yeah.
And then then he points in my footwear and he's like, if we go down,
You're fucked.
I'm a liability. So I need to have like proper footwear and like proper gear the whole time.
Yeah. All right.
Damn. Wow.
Throwing to you.
Oh, the last question of the night.
Yeah.
All right. Who would you recommend we reach out to be on this show?
Kevin Ackley.
All right. He's in the Upper Midwest film community. I'm guessing. I recognize that name.
Yeah, have you seen the film Leaf Man?
Leaf Man. I've heard about this. Isn't it like a horror or something about like a pile of leaves that attack somebody or something like that?
It's like in the horror genre, I guess, but like I wouldn't really describe it as like a horror film per se. There's some like really good like costuming. And
All right.
It's awesome.
You know who?
It's very like metaphysical.
Nick Palatichuk might have told me about this guy.
Leaf Man? Oh, I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just on Nick's
Kevin.
podcast recently.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I met Kevin at the Ely Film Festival a couple years ago. We've been together a couple times, and he's rad. And Leaf Man is awesome.
sweet. Well, Kevin.
Yeah, well, Alex, thank you for joining us. I think we had a great debate. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye. Thank you for listening. For more JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN. Join us next time for another debate.